Costa Brava, candidate to be a biosphere reserve, has one of the best preserved coastlines on the Mediterranean, with 3 natural parks and many areas with various levels of protection. It covers a large section of more than 200 kilometers between Blanes and Portbou, with an exceptional combination of beaches, coves with pine forests that reach the waterline, reefs and cliffs that enter the depths of the sea. Historically a fishing area for 70 years, it has been a place of pilgrimage for visitors searching for the charm of its hidden gems. The Costa Brava aims to excel in more environmentally friendly tourism and highlight the importance of its habitats, the interrelation between the different activities that take place, and the best way to preserve them. Snorkeling and diving are 2 fantastic ways to get close to the underwater world, to get to know and love it. Let's go! Snorkeling comprises staying on the surface of the water and following a natural route to discover underwater life at shallow depths with the help of our guides. We will do this equipped with a mask, snorkel tube, fins and wetsuit, and we will take data sheets to identify species. It is important that the wetsuit fits well to protect us from the cold, and that the mask is correctly positioned so it is not placed over our hair or hood if worn. Careful with the fins, pay attention when walking. If we enter the water from a beach, it is often better to put them on once we are in the water. The snorkel tube is held in place by the mask strap and will help us breathe using our mouth without having to lift our head out of the water. From the boat, we will always jump into the water with the fins already on. And remember to hold on to the goggles when jumping in, otherwise it is very easy to lose them. Once equipped, we can enter the water by taking a giant step. Whether you enter the sea from a beach or a boat, remember to check all the equipment before starting to swim. Once in the water, you will get used to the equipment little by little. Your guides will have safety elements in case they are needed. Now you can begin to observe the different habitats and organisms that live in the sea. The first habitat you will see is where the waves break, and which is in constant immersion and immersion. You will find organisms that live in and out of the water, and even some cormorants. And also a large amount of seaweed. There are all kinds of organisms that live between these 2 worlds. All of them are able to resist the battering of the waves. Some of them, such as crabs or snails, are easily recognized, but others will be more difficult to see. Here you will find the cornice, the living reef of the Mediterranean. It is a community of organisms with a calcareous structure that grows extremely slowly and is very sensitive to disturbances in its environment. You will also discover a large number of living beings. Some of them are stuck to the rocks, such as seaweed, mollusks, and crustaceans. And others are free, such as the fish, which are constantly moving from one place to another. If you dive a little, or look further down, you will discover the well-lit seabed, where you will find a large number of fish. White sea breams, brown wrasses, Mediterranean rainbow wrasses, salps, and many more that are looking for their own meal among the nooks and crannies and the seaweed. Swim slowly, without making a sound or touching anything. This way you can discover the great biodiversity that is hidden there, without disturbing any organism or disrupting the equilibrium. the well-lit seabed is one of the most typical habitats and landscapes of the Mediterranean. Lush habitats bathed in light. Here you will discover lots of organisms that make the Costa Brava such a special place, such as octopuses, sea breams, ornate wrasses, tompopp blennies or rock gobies, etc. Move calmly and observe the large amount of biodiversity that lives in harmony in this environment. There are fish that are silver like mirrors, with black stripes or spots, that live camouflaged in the water column, such as white sea breams, gilt-head breams, sea breams and saddle breams. Other fish are colorful and live very close to the seabed, such as brown wrasse, Mediterranean rainbow wrasse and ornate wrasse. And if you look carefully, you will see small fish that live among the rocks or on the sand. These are rock gobies, tompopp blennies or blennies. With goggles and a snorkel tube, you can observe this flora and fauna without damaging the environment. You can also discover the Posidonia meadows, the autochthonous underwater forests of the Mediterranean. Their ecological role is extremely important, as they are one of the lungs of our sea. On the Posidonia grass blades, there are tiny animals that attach themselves to the surface to grow, lay eggs or hide. All the organisms that live on the grass blades are the ideal food for many fish that approach them individually or in schools to feed. If you pay attention, you will see species that shelter there, protected from predators' gaze. Among them, bright red starfish. Remember not to touch them, as with most marine organisms, they are very fragile. The salps, which feed on the Posidonia grass blades and swim above them in schools, delight the people who visit the place. Don't forget to take a look at the sandy seabed. There you will see different species of fish swimming and a large number of organisms that hide in the sand. There are snails that go unnoticed, worms and all kinds of animals that live buried in the sand. Fish that are camouflage experts, such as the sole and the red mullet that detect and dig up food hidden in the sand using their sensory barbels. In some places you can see little Neptune grass, Cymodocea nodosa. It is a similar plant to the Posidonia grass that lives on the sandy seabed. Here the cuttlefish and squid, species of interest to fishermen, find the ideal substrate for laying their eggs. Remember that your guide will help you to identify the different species and interpret what you see, while telling you how to preserve the environment. Don't forget the species identification sheets for the habitats. They will make your experience much more interesting. Do you want to know what there is further down? The next step will be diving. With a little training, the diving center professionals will help you take that big step to the seabed of the Costa Brava, either with an intro dive or an initiation course. Don't worry, the Costa Brava diving centers will accompany you at every stage and will explain everything so it is a safe and unique experience. To dive, you will need to wear diving gear. As well as the wetsuit, mask and fins, you will use a bottle of compressed air, a regulator, a buoyancy compensator harness or jacket, and weights. It is important that the wetsuit fits well to protect you from the cold, and that the mask is correctly positioned so it is not placed over hair or the hood if worn. Your instructor will show you how to put it on and use all the equipment. They will adjust it for you so that nothing touches or damages the seabed, and they will accompany you at all times. Careful with the fins. Pay attention when walking. If we enter the water from a beach, it is often better to put them on once we are in the water. From the boat, we will always jump into the water with the fins already on. The instructor will also show you how to equalize air pressure and the basic signs for communicating underwater. Memorize this. All is well. When diving, you will discover the surface habitats up close and with more time than with snorkeling. Remember not to touch anything so as not to damage the environment. Diving allows us to observe species up close that we do not find in shallower waters and to get closer to see their behavior and how they interact. Observe the walls and rocks as well as the water around you. You will see many fish that live most of their life cycle there. A little further down, in areas that do not receive as much light, we find one of the key underwater habitats, the coralligena. It gets its name from the corals that inhabit it. It is a place that is full of life, a world of silence that fills with color under divers' lights. In the most discreet corners, you will find octopuses, lobsters, and also very territorial fish, such as conger eels, moray eels, and groupers swimming near the walls. From here, the Gorgonian gardens reach their greatest splendor. You will see thousands of soft coral mouths that trap particles of plankton to feed themselves. It is life in slow motion and with a great diversity of colors and animals. Some of them are very strange and which you may have never seen before. And also fish that live hidden among the gloom of their shelter. If If you continue with your training, you will be able to access the next stage, the darkness. These are all the places that are far from sunlight, such as caves and crevices or the deepest water. These are areas dominated by filtering organisms that color the walls of tunnels and caves. It is a diverse ecosystem in permanent darkness that seems trapped in time. A good way of seeing some of these species and their behavior is to dive or snorkel at night. With diving lights and all the safety elements, at night you will have the inhabitants of darkness before your eyes. You will see fish sleeping, octopus hunting, anemones from dark places, and many other organisms that are more active when there is no light. Diving and snorkeling with the Costa Brava sub-guides, you will discover the life in the depths while respecting the environment and with complete safety. The Costa Brava seabed offers you all those experiences that will make you return to the surface wanting to do it all again. The Costa Brava subdiving centers offer you the chance to discover this underwater world in a respectful and exciting way.